I'm stuck with this idea that I'm not as productive as I was, and I don't need to be, but that somehow has a lack in me that I need to be more productive. And I have a lot of creative endeavors, and I'm still working, self-employed for many years. But
over the next while, you're going to notice a shift in this, and here's why. When you are more and more in sync, we know you're in alignment, but you can get specifically in alignment. In other words, as things come up and you feel the offness of them, and then you do something about finding a better feeling door, and then you begin connecting those dots, you will find yourself utilizing this energy that creates worlds more specifically. And your feeling of productivity will soar. Not just your feeling of productivity, the manifestations of productivity. What you've been doing, and most people do, Esther too, you've been counting on your words, your will, your determination, your action, your power, what you've gathered around you. And there are many ways to be productive in those ways. Most of the world, that's the way in which they are productive.
I want to be happy, not productive.
Well, we're going to finish what we were saying, and then we're going to get all over you about that. Because the first thing that we want to get across is that when you are doing the thing that you intended when you came into this body, which is utilizing this energy that creates worlds toward your productive desires, that is where your greatest sense of satisfaction will come from. When you say, I want to be happy and not be productive, that's like saying, I'm going to cease my utilization of this energy that creates worlds. Satisfaction comes from one experience: having a desire and moving in the direction of it. So you attempted the impossible when you said, I don't want to be productive, meaning I don't have any desires. Did you mean you want to be without desire, or did you mean you want to be without the hard work that you think is what is necessary in order to satisfy desire?
The cultural need to work.
Yes, well, we want that for you too, because most people get lost in the process. When you are doing all of those things to justify the good that you want to come to you, you introduce into your vibrational equation resistance that doesn't let the good that you're asking for come. And then your flawed premise, your erroneous assumption is, it's not coming because I'm not working hard enough. So you offer more effort, still with that wanting to prove your worthiness thing that you can't ever do, and it just never breaks loose for you. People work really, really hard and create really, really minuscule amounts of what's in their vortex and of what they deserve. You just can't work hard enough to proclaim your deservability when your deservability does not need to be justified or explained. See, it's hard for humans to hear when you ask, it is given. Because when you ask, it is given to you vibrationally, but you have to let it in. Oh, so that's the loophole. That's the trick, Abraham. When you ask, it is given, but then there's a catch. Well, yeah, when you ask, it is given, but you must be a vibrational match to what you're asking for. Most people are really examining where they currently stand, and where they stand has all kinds of things wanted and all kinds of wanted things missing. So do you know it is awareness of what is that causes you to try hard, which is counterproductive? If you could be satisfied with what is, that feels weird. We were talking to a woman one day who was really down on her ex, and we were encouraging her to make some lists of positive aspects and try to find a better feeling place about him. And she said, Abraham, you misunderstand. I don't want him back. I don't even want to have lunch with him. And we said, no, we get it. The misunderstanding is this. You think that you can push away unwanted, and you can't. There's no such thing as no in an attraction-based universe. There's only attraction, which is attention to it. And so the mistake in understanding that so many people have is that they think that they have to justify what comes to them because they've been trained by others who need them to do stuff.
And I know all that, and it's still kind of there. I have to, every morning I start with you and meditation, and it's not that big of a problem, but since I'm here, I wanted to bring it up.
Everything that we just said to you, you do know. So let's do some doors.
Okay.
Let's make the statement that is the reason that we're doing the doors, and the statement is, I keep thinking that I need more action and productivity in order to get the things I want. Did we say it right, or do you want to say it?
That's exactly right.
I keep thinking that I need plenty of action, even more action, in order to get.
Maybe I misrepresented that. I'm at an age where I don't need to work that much, and I'm trying to have fun and not feel guilty about the fact
ridiculous.
that I'm not.
That's just ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
For this reason.
Totally.
At what age do you tire of the universe giving you what you deserve?
I have a lot of creative endeavors I'm doing without monetary association with them. That's the problem.
What you're doing with that practice statement?
Yeah.
What you're doing with that practice statement is you are not wanting to look unprosperous, and you're not wanting to look like you don't know what you're doing. You're not wanting to look like you're complaining. You're playing to the peanut gallery in that you're wanting to make a presentation. And what we want you to understand is that you have a huge amount of unfulfilled desires in your vortex that you don't have to work hard to get, but you can't pretend like you don't want them and get them either. Saying, I don't need to work, I've already accomplished a lot. You would never say that from a connected point of view. From a connected point of view, what you say is, I have come to create, and there's so much in my vortex that I haven't let in, and I haven't even experienced. Let's start again. Ooh, you're really going to like this. So this is how it works. Life comes at you or to you by attraction, and you have a response to it. And one response that always happens is at either a conscious or an unconscious level, you launch rockets of desire of improvement. If something isn't quite the way you like it, you launch a rocket that requests more. You just do. So your vortex expands whether you know that it is expanding or not. And because all of you isn't in this body, the largest part of you is non-physically focused and focused on what's in that vortex. That vortex continues to expand as the cooperative components become more and more numerous, which means the exponential possibilities are not even humanly definable. The combinations of things that could converge to surprise and delight you. Esther used to say, Abraham, you talk about being surprised and delighted by the universe. I get the delighted part, but how could I be surprised if I create my own reality? And we say, because you put the ingredients, the pieces of what you want in, sort of like the flour that goes into the cake and the sugar that goes into the cake. You put the ingredients in as you live life, but they are becoming masterpieces of magnificence beyond your right now usual comprehension. But the more capacity you accomplish for alignment with your source, then the more able you are to see what's in that vortex. Remember earlier we said satisfaction comes from having a desire and then moving in the direction of it. Now imagine all of these things in your vortex, and you're in this moment not justifying where you are by saying, I've lived long enough and I've got enough and I don't need to work anymore. In other words, you're still an active matching extension of source energy, and you still feel a zest for utilizing the energy that creates worlds toward your productive ends. You feel like that. So now you had some dissatisfaction, but you did the doors and you felt better, and some other, and you did the doors and you felt better, and you're getting really good at this. You're holding yourself in this place of alignment with your inner being. Now think about what that means. The more you are, deliberately or not, but in this case deliberate in alignment with your inner being, the more in sync you are with all of those probabilities that we earlier said are unfathomable to you. The more of those boxes to be checked that feel individual can be checked at the same time, so that something happens and it satisfies this and this and this and this and this, and you feel so powerful and so masterful because you've accomplished something so extraordinary, not necessarily in its bigness in relationship to anything that anybody else has ever created, but in its components that all fit together in this extraordinary orgasmic explosion of being the creator in the moment and knowing that you are and doing it on purpose. Nothing is more exhilarating than to find an idea. Maybe you stumble on it and you don't even know why you like it so much, but you keep tripping over it. And then you find a consistent feeling place and it turns into something that you didn't see coming, that is so awesome you can't even believe that you never thought of it before, and it is so satisfying it just knocks your socks off. You just can hardly even stand how good it feels, and you didn't even see it coming, but now it has come. Now you're able to retrospectively connect the dots because you remember thinking about that and thinking about that and thinking about that. And so you begin to do this deliberate dance with the universe where you accept these things. I'm a creator. I came to do that. Source is on my side. Divine intervention is at my fingertips all the time. I am bigger than I can comprehend, but not bigger than I can allow a little bit at a time. If your quest in life, and we're saying this to you specifically, deliberately, specifically, and emphatically, when your quest for life, if you're saying something like, okay, universe, show me what I've got. I've lived a whole life putting it there. And I accept the law of attraction has gathered cooperative components, so it's bigger than I even know. Show it to me. And then someone says, but what price are you going to pay for that? And you say, the price of happy, the price of expectation. I'm going to tend to the way I feel, which means I'm going to tend to my point of attraction, and I'm going to find out what kind of a creator I am. Because we want you to know the combination of what's in your vortex, you do want it. Your inner being would never, ever, ever say, I've lived long enough and I've got enough. Never. That's why you'll be right back. You are an eternal evolver. And there is nothing that we can even fathom more delicious than to be an eternal evolver who is doing it on purpose. So you get here, you're not doing it on purpose. Life is kind of knocking you around and helping you to formulate your own decisions and preferences about what you like. And you might be influenced by someone who doesn't complain. You might be influenced by somebody who does complain. There's a big mix of all of that. But nevertheless, you are creating a vortex that's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And moment by moment, as you're moving through your life experience, there is a relationship between you and where you stand and where your inner being is standing in your vortex. And every emotion that you feel, good or bad, big or strong, every single emotion that you feel is that tension between who you've become and who you have right now so far let yourself be. That tension about who you have right now so far let yourself be is what we've been talking about all day long here today. And as you relax into that, not proving anything to anybody, not competing with anybody, just caring that you feel good and doing something about that so that more of who you've become flows in. Insight, satisfaction, clarity, timing, new ideas, satisfaction. Yes, productivity. But productivity in terms of what you produce for others to applaud over is way down on the list. And we really think that's what you were trying to say to us.
The work part.
But creation is not far down on your list. It is at the top of your list because creation and becoming and being are all the same word. You are creator. And when you are deliberate creator, you're happy. So humans say, give me the stuff I want and I'll be happy. We say backwards, be happy and the stuff you want will flow. You say awkward. Play with this and let the universe show you. There isn't anything that we've said today that you missed. You've got this. Play with this and watch what happens. Yeah.
Thank you. You're beautiful. I love you.